Kirill just got back from Bits Pretzels 2025 in Munich, one of Europe's loudest startup playgrounds, and the shift is real. Last year, it felt like an AI costume party, right? But this year, the hype, it didn't just disappear, it just learned to blend in. The rappers got prettier, the buzzwords got smarter. Uh, Not so sure about the substance, though. It's still questionable. And the contradictions are getting hilarious, at least from my point of view. Startups brag about AI native disruption, yet can't even explain what their product does without a pitch deck. Networking is the key to careers, yet most conversations lead nowhere except another LinkedIn connection you'll never message. And companies scream future work while forcing people back to offices as if we are still in 2015. My name is Leo Sushiv. I'm a co-founder from KDev, where we help companies move faster with cloud-native platforms, automation, and AI-augmented engineering. And this is DevOps Accents, the show where we say out loud what most people in tech only joke about after the conference drinks. And today, I'm joined by my fellow MKDev co-founder Kirill Sharinkin, freshly returned from Bits Pretzels 2025, and Pablo Sanchez. We are breaking down what's changing at conferences, in recruiting, and in the tech scene, and what it really means for people building products and careers in 2025 and 2026. Let's get to it.
Welcome to DevOps Accents, a podcast on everything around DevOps, public cloud, and cloud-native topics, with your hosts, Pablo, Leo, and Kirill.
All right, so here we go again. Kirill, Pablo, and I. Hi, guys. How have you been?
Hello. How are you? How is everything? Come on, Kirill. You need to be more happy. How are you?
Don't poke him. He's going to tell us how he spent his days at Bits Pretzels at Oktoberfest in Munich. So it's roughly 7,500 people across founders, investors, and teams. Over 3 days, big energy, lots of conversation, I assume. And it's still one of the Europe's louder rooms and the biggest event for startups, for VCs, and a place to showcase your startup. So not every chat turns into, into hire, into investment, but I think I've been reading some articles about there are a few patterns stood out about it. We will discuss it later. So Kirill, give us a quick impressions. How was that for you this year? Compared to the previous year, especially, what has changed? Because last year, I remember there were a lot of artificial intelligence. Is this still the case?
Still the case. Artificial intelligence still there, but way less. So last year it felt upsetting because you go and 100% of startup booths AI, but not good AI, just AI, whatever, rubbers of everything. And now it's maybe not 100. Just AI agent for sales. Now it was maybe 50% AI, not 100%, which was refreshing. So still lots of good startups. What was different? I'm gonna be the cheap complaining guy, but last year coffee and food was everything for free, and this year everything costed money. But even the bottle. Come on, the bottle was. The bottle was also, you could not get a free bottle. I got a free this. Pin. Now they make pins, and I got one for 2025.
For those on Spotify, Kirill is showing a small black pin.
It's a carousel with 2025 and logo, and then because I was there last year, it's 2024. I got also this one. So I guess beer, here I could start collecting them.
Beer.
Mass. It's called. Yes, a 1 liter thing from Oktoberfest. And I got a free t-shirt because I reposted on LinkedIn. But that was about it. Like no coffee. There was no pretzels on Bits Pretzels. Last year there was like a huge wall of pretzels that you could get for breakfast.
Atrocity.
This year, nothing. And okay, maybe it's stupid to complain about the lack of free coffee, but it's not a cheap conference, right? It's like if you pay full price, 1.5K for 2.5 days, 2K. Here you go. It's like coffee, and it's a sponsored coffee, right? So one of the like people who give you coffee is like one of the sponsors. So whatever, like that was a bit strange, but okay. Unfortunately, table captains were cancelled because of some security issue in Munich. Like the whole Oktoberfest was closed. Just to explain, who never was on Bits Pretzels, like the conference is 2 days, but the third day they booked the whole tent on Oktoberfest, which kind of a big thing because it's like it's not easy to get like the whole huge tent on Oktoberfest for like half a day. And then you get table captains, you select in advance with whom you want to sit. Maybe it's like whatever, like a CTO of Telecom or like CEO of Miro. In groups of 5-6 people, and you can exchange, network, etc. It's called liquid networking. This year they canceled it last moment because one guy...
Because of the reason.
Because one guy north of Munich, he saw that his wife slept with his father, so the child of this guy was not from himself, but from his father. So he went to his father's apartment and set it on fire. I think no one died, if I remember correctly, maybe. But of course, it created lots of noise because of like whatever. Maybe there's a security reason for Oktoberfest. That's the official story. Maybe there was like a bigger reason to close it, but that was like the one that we got. So because of this, guys, they closed everything, and because of this, Oktoberfest was not profitable this year. Like all of Oktoberfest was not profitable this year, which is to me amazing because it's just like 1 day for this event with 16 euro per beer portion. But Bits Pretzels itself was again nice. This year I did not do as much networking because last year I was just trying to do as many meetings as possible. This year was just chill. I was with a couple of friends. Pablo did not make it. Another friend made it instead of Pablo, which was nice because I don't like to be in conference alone. And I was mostly going to...
You want to say, I don't like to be in conference with Pablo.
Yeah, I wanted to be polite, but yes, this as well.
Come on, man.
Yes. Just being on a conference with Pablo just ruins my day. No, I love you, Pablo. Like I prefer to be with you on every conference. So I was on many talks. What I realized when you try to go to talks on Bits Pretzels is that, like when you really want to see lots of talks, you have so many parallel tracks. So it's really hard to get to see everything you want to see because maybe like 6 different rooms. Each of them has like non-stop talks. And then sometimes they just overlapped and they could not go to like 2 of the ones that you wanted to visit. What was also, I don't remember, last year it was the same, but this year lots of panels. So in the main room called Inspiration Stage, maybe 90% of all the talks were not really talks, were panels. So there was like a host and then like 3 of us talking to each other. So there were like 2 founders and then a person that like asks questions as they discuss some topic. That was, I have mixed feelings about it because sometimes it was cool, sometimes not. I prefer well-prepared talks and not panels, but sometimes panels are cool. And the coolest one probably was with either Aerospace CEO and CEO of some satellite company from Bulgaria. I forgot the name, unfortunately. Should have looked it up in advance. So either Aerospace, like maybe it's Leo, you like space stuff. It's a company here in Munich. They build rockets. They're trying to become like SpaceX of Europe, and they had like the first ever or recent content like launch from Europe. Beginning of this year, they have lots of contracts, and they're building the same thing with like reusable rockets and stuff. But all of this here in Europe, and the CEO was there, so they were talking about the space industry in Europe. The satellite guy was telling how many satellites they launched, like this year or last year, it was more than 50 years combined before that. So it was nice to see space startups. A bit strange moment for me was that this either Aerospace, they said like SpaceX or whatever. I think SpaceX or some US investors invested like hundreds of millions into them. Yeah, but the whole idea was like to build European space company, and now it's owned by US space company sounds it's
A
like
competitor.
So conflicting messages there. Also was really cool there was a CEO of Munich security conference, this big one, big security conference, where there was like this famous speech from Putin like 10 years ago, like this conference. So the CEO was there. He was talking about, like, he was super, not pessimistic, but like he was telling, if you read news and you're concerned by the news, but in terms of security and war and whatever, you need to know that it's only like peak of the iceberg. The real situation in the world is fucked up way more than what you hear in the news. And like we are in Europe not ready. We have no leverage. We like need to start changing everything like at the same time rapidly. As he said, but at the same time, even though I realize we need lots of change, I don't want personally to change a bit of my behavior. So like there's this conflict. It's like everyone understands we need rapid change, but on the individual level, no one wants to change. Yes.
And this year, there is no. You told me, Kirill, that there is no more special guest, no, because what it was famous for Bits Pretzels, not last year either, but the previous years, that always it was a super huge personalities. And since last year, they started to choose German ministers, because this year we have one or two. I don't remember. Last year it was 2 or 3, and non-famous people, like for example Obama or people like that. It was like that this year too, no?
Yes, they said, okay, it's not like they don't invite famous people, but they decided starting last year to focus on, like, before they were like, okay, Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming to talk on business research. And it's like, wow, like Schwarzenegger, or like Michelle Obama. And then they reconsidered, like, okay, but we are a conference about like European founders. It's called like Home of Founders. So we probably should, instead of just trying to impress with some big speaker from US, we should give the stage to maybe like CEOs, CTOs, etc. of big European companies like Personio, like this Ether Aerospace. This guy was on many panels and so on. Which I think it's not a bad idea that you kind of you give stage to your audience, right? So you don't get like, we are super European conference. Here is like Mark Zuckerberg giving a speech, like cringe, but really strange. So now it's a bit even more focused. Yeah, last year was also lots of minister focused. This year it was like some guys from Bavaria, like Minister President of Bavaria and Minister of Digital Affairs of Bavaria, and then I think was Minister of Digitalization of Germany also talking. So government was present a lot again, like last year. Probably like one of the favorite parts was the pitch contest. Pitch he was contest, a funny guy. He was explaining to me is that like in Italy, in some parts of Italy, P and B are very similar pronunciation wise, and he's a pitch master. So that's his official work title. And he was telling that in some parts of Italy he had an issue with this because of P and B being so close. So he would tell the people like, okay, could you please announce me as a pitch master? And then he's like, here is the beach master. Master of beaches, and so on. It was like funny. Yes, and the winners, because like Pablo remembers who were the winners and finalists of pitch contest last year. And that was like not exciting. This year, which was the startups I found actually it's way cooler. So the 3 ones I remembered is like one of them, they were making the process of transporting organs way cheaper, because the guy was explaining there are like 2 ways to do it right now. You either put an organ in ice, like a kidney, and you transport in ice. So it's like you can actually transport it for long distances and so on. So if you're super rich, you can transport it in a special machine that pumps it pumps real blood, and then you can transport it like across the ocean, these organs. But that's like costs whatever forever. And they invented some kind of artificial synthetic blood and some other system that makes it like 10 times cheaper. Another was a startup from Munich, and they actually won the competition. They are building construction robots. So their robot, like if a human removes like 1 cubic meter of concrete, it takes us like half a day, and then this robot can remove like 3 times faster, and then you don't need a human. And human is not killing their back and whatever. So the startups, at least in the speech contest, were really good. Like you're like, okay, not sure if it works, if they're gonna succeed, but you listen, it's like, yes, that's actually cool. Like this technology is world changing and useful. Because last year was like I don't care. Like most of it. The guy who won is like, okay, yes, cool.
That's
Still don't
nice.
care.
Yeah, I won. I don't care.
Yeah, it's like
No, because even it's one of the, at least in my opinion, one of the best part of the complete event, because the idea of this pitch is that all the companies go and present what they are doing. They have a few minutes to do that. They go with the microphone and they do the pitch, and they present what they're doing. It's not that they are looking for money, because normally when you have a pitch, you pitch because you want another companies to introduce money in your company. It's a pitch to win. And they do this pitch, and normally you see people that they are not used to speak in public, because this is what used to happen. But there are companies that even they have a very good idea, a very brilliant idea. Plus, what they are doing is they are introducing a person out of the company to do to execute the pitch. And you see many companies, and you see many ideas, and you see many themes. And at the end, it's like I don't know, I love that, because it's like a competition. You have the finalists and then the winner. For me, it was the best. And the last year, if I remember correctly, they left that. No, the last one, it was because the pizzas was horrible, because in Vita Press it was more or less okay. But the one that was horrible, if I remember, it was in Lisbon, in this web summit that they left for the end. So only for the end, and there were only few people in the auditorium.
Remained,
Probably
yeah.
one of the best things. But okay.
Yeah. I was wondering, because when we started, I was under impression that those conferences are mostly for learning. Because you go there, you listen from the professionals, what's new, how to tackle on different issues, how to start, things like that. But when you get there, you quickly realize that this is a place mostly for brand. Because people go there, they brag about, they create a beautiful shiny stands to demonstrate, then to find the investments, things like that. And also last year, we've been told that conferences are a great place for hiring or get hired. Is this still the case? At least in Bits and Pretzels.
Okay. The problem with Bits and Pretzel is that normally this event is for companies startups who want to present themselves to investors or to other companies that they want to, the main idea is to make a business.
Mm-hmm.
So for sure that you can go there, because all the companies are going to be there, and many of those, they raise money and they need people, and you can say, okay, yes, here I am. So I am very good at that, and you can get a job. But the problem is if you're going to find the correct person, or you're going to find the correct mood to do that, because maybe the people, they are not looking for that. So, and they're looking for investors. So this is the problem. Because it's the same thing that happened to us when you're looking for a customer. You need to find the correct person, because maybe there is an IT guy doing a presentation, but you don't want to talk with this guy. Maybe he's the director of sales, and you don't want to talk with this guy. You want to talk with the guy who wants to talk, maybe the CTO, maybe the director of IT, something like that. And what could happen to these people looking for a job is the same. But for sure, if you mix 7,500 people, IT people, you're going to have chances to find the correct person, for sure. But I don't know if this is...
The main reason why I asked is because, Kirill, you know this example with Electronic Entertainment Expo E3, basically. So they died. And the reason for that is that
before
at some
we could
point,
visit.
Yeah. And at some point, they decided that that was the conference, the expo, where companies come, they present their video games, and they let a lot of regular people like us inside the venue to come to play, to see some presentations, things like that, to visit booths. It was an entertainment event. But at some point, they decided we want to be professionals, and they restricted the access for regular people. You just can't go there unless you are a developer. And then they shifted to some just presentations, thing like that, and then it eventually died because this just didn't work. Companies don't want to spend so much money into and just basically waste it on a nice presentation, a nice booth, if nobody see that except for other developers who came there for business. Now you're saying that companies come to the conference, to Bits Pretzels for business. Well, and if this is so, at some point people will stop coming there for networking. They will be coming there, visiting there just only to find investors or find new startups to invest to. And I'm afraid at some point they will die because of it, unless they will shift back to networking, to letting people get hired or find new hires, things like that, or maybe refocusing to more educational things, things like that. So what I'm trying to say, you need to attract regular guys.
But Leo, it's a 2K ticket. So I think this is the first. The first
yeah, but make it 200.
Yes, but it's working for them. It's always full. So why you are going to tell to the people, don't pay 2K, pay 200? Because I want to
I'm just
students.
No, I'm not asking for anything. I'm just telling E3 died because of it. So maybe this will happen. And one thing that I wanted to discuss is because I feel that the current recruitment landscape, the way how the traditional recruitment is working is basically cooked, right? It doesn't work. I read a lot of complaints. I read a lot of horror stories, and I've been told that instead you should rely on networking and build your network, visit conferences, visit meetups, stuff like that. You go to the conference, you meet a CEO of this startup, of the company there, and that boom, you are in the company. You know that. So, and I'm not sure if this is still the case because of the scope, and so you and that a new space aerospace company come there to present itself rather than talk to a normal people. And on this background, for example, the Facebook, right? They relaunched jobs. They had this job tab on Facebook. This feature was shut down in 2023 because they thought, okay, we don't need that. But now it's back in marketplace and relevant groups, and you can get hired again on Facebook. So, and that's for me was a signal. Okay, something is shifting, and traditional recruit doesn't work. Networking, I'm not sure if it works. So, and now we have Facebook jobs is back. It's only available in the United States for now, but this move suggests to me so more hiring will happen in feed native places where people already spent their time rather than conferences or LinkedIn job boards, maybe. So what do you think? Is traditional recruiting is cooked, or is just maybe I'm just delusional?
Really depends on the industry and how recruiting works. I mean, in terms of networking and Business Pretzels, it's still a heavily networking-focused event. So the networking is actually, like, in terms of how networking is organized, it's one of the best events because you have so many like tools to do this, like the speed dates, sessions there. That is quick matchmaking. There are actually volunteers who also proactively will match you with different people. Plus, this Captain Tables is just about networking. There is like no programs there. We just go there to network, which didn't happen this year, but like, who knew? And for recruiting, I don't know what's the I mean, my wife is in a recruitment space, and so far, like, it seems traditional recruitment works quite well. I mean, it works less well when economy in general works less well, which is obvious. Like, the less jobs you have available, then the recruitment also goes worse.
But do you think that their expectation may be shifted? Like they look for more flexibility with some real evidences, or like I don't know. For example, like in Scotland, right? So they had this year-long 4-day week public sector trial, and they what they reported after that when you work 32 hours a week instead of 40 hours a week, they reported improved well-being, low work-related stress, things like that, and a 0.25% drop in psychological sick leaves. With that, so does it change?
The work for hours is even better.
For public, yeah, but like you need to calculate, because in the public sector, guys, they were serving public, so you also need to ask if you cannot get appointment in 6 months. I'm not sure what happens there, like if it's a true or not, but I would feel like if you have whole public sector working 20% less, so what happens to whole appointment system when people need to get some documents? Is it 20% longer to get anything? Good to take care of your workers, but I think psychologically, if you just get lots of money and you do nothing or do your hobbies, it could be also pretty good.
Yeah, and I was wondering, like, when people say that the traditional recruitment is cooked or things like that, I was thinking maybe it's not the recruitment is cooked. Maybe we have just unreasonable expectations, like for I don't know, and people just forgot how to work properly and what to expect from that, or is it? I know, maybe it's vice versa. Maybe the expectations are correct, and it's just the companies they didn't adapt too quick for that, for new demands.
And this is gonna be like, at least in Germany, I'm not sure, like in Spain, every second company went with this back to office in last 1 year, 1.5 years. Is that from 5 days remote? Okay, now 2 days per week you have to be in the office, or 3 days per week. And maybe some people still have remote arrangement, and if they're looking for a new job, they will figure, okay, now every other company requires me to be in the office at least 3 days per week. But apparently we learned nothing, and companies decided that remote work is stupid and we need to start going back to the offices, based on not only Germany, like Microsoft and other companies like Amazon, etc. They also do this.
Would you apply to the job that requires you to go to the office 2 times a week?
Yeah, in my opinion, I have no problem to do that. So 2 times is nothing, not a problem at all.
I would, the remote work, I would prefer to have a place to go to every now and then.
Yes, for me it's the same. I'm working at home always. If I have to go to an office to talk with people, for me, this is fantastic. The only thing is that the companies change their mind and they change the attitude to working remotely or working on site because of people. Because this is the problem, because they are working with people. And there are all kind of people. We as owners of companies, how it is when you treat with employees. There are a huge variety of employees. So, and the problem is that normally the one who makes noise are the one that are not doing correctly the things. And this is the problem, because for sure, if you're at home, you can tell that you are at home, and you can be in the supermarket, you can be in whatever place, there is no, but if you're in the office and you want to go to the doctor, you need to tell to your boss, sorry, I need to go to work. Sorry. But because when you are an employee in a company, you have a number of rules that you need to follow. And one of the rules is that you need to do something, you need to stay in a place, but I cannot contact you every hour. Hey, where are you? You're at home? Are you at home? Are you at home? You can't do that. Then you can do what you want. And at the end, the company says, okay, I prefer to pay an office, and I prefer to tell to the people, where are you? Okay, you're here. Now do what you have to do, or you will be fine.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking bastard telling that, but it's true. This is
I know a lot of people who will say that this is unreasonable demand, myself included. If the company says I need to go to the office, okay, no, thank you, bye. But and I think okay, I know how it started, right? So it started mostly with COVID, and I think that the momentum is still there because, for example, I don't know with the recent news. I don't know if you read about it or not. So Starlink, they launched direct to sell as if cell phones, not selling something.
Prison cell.
What is that?
Yeah.
Direct to prison cell.
Yeah.
Fantastic feature. Thank you,
Yeah,
Starlink.
Direct to sell with T-Mobile service. So it supports texting and some satellite optimized application in most outdoors areas with a clear view of the sky. So it's still like the proof of concept mostly, but it's already there. It's already working. So you don't need to like a lot of complex devices, things like that. So the environment and the technology that lets you work from anywhere is improving. And when we have that, asking you to get back to traditional work when you have like you can be in the mountains or in the deep forest and still be online thanks to satellites. It's the reality today, and tomorrow it will be even faster, even better. And I think like the anywhere ops is a thing, and I think people should adapt that rather than switching to 2 days a week in the office.
But if I have a company, this is the case, and if I'm working with a guy like Kirill, I can tell to Kirill, you can be at home. Don't worry. You don't need to come to the office. Come to the office in case that you want. It's not a problem for me. But then appear Peter Parker, the fucking Peter Parker. And then I said, oh, this fucking Peter Parker is not doing a thing. Peter come here. And then Peter is going to tell, hey man, so why I'm here and Kirill is at home? I'm going to the human resources. And then I'm going to a trial. And then you need to make a rule. And the problem is that you need to make a rule because you have Kirills and you have Peter Parkers. And this is the problem because you cannot make individual rules. You need to make a general rules or you will have a problem like as a company. And for sure that I'm with you, that the best way is to do what the people wants to do. But the problem is if you allow people to do what they want to do, nobody will go to the office. Always.
I will say, like, I know lots of people who actually prefer to go to the office 5 days a week, even though they can work remotely. I think it's a misconception, like, because all of us three here, we are so used to remote work for many years that we think that every single person wants to work remotely. I know lots of guys who are like, fuck this, I don't want to be at home. Like, I have a studio apartment. Why would I want to be in my fucking studio apartment, like 24 hours per day, walk from there and then like watch Netflix from the same place and so on.
Yeah.
So it's lots of people prefer, like you also just said, like if there would be an office, you would go to the office a couple of times per week at least.
Yes, but I'm living in a huge house, but I'm living in a little island too. If I had to go to an office, for me it's fantastic. But
like in your case with the huge house, you have lots of space to isolate your workspace because not many people have a huge house in the big city.
No, for sure. But what I mean is that but it's different, no? Because if I am working in my company, I have to go to the office every day. For me, it's fantastic. It's not a problem. But okay, if I have to work for another guy, and this guy is there is another boss, and Kios is telling to me that you need to go to the office, I don't want to see your face because there are many kinds of humans, there are many kinds of relations, and maybe I don't want to see this face,
I think the question is not whether you should or should not expect remote work from the company. It's more like if the company should provide you with this opportunity and to what extent. Things like that. I think this paradigm will shift and will keep shifting and evolving. We will see this in the future, and let us know in the comments what's your preferences, because for me personally my preference is to be on Bits and Pretzels and boozing with everybody else. And I think we will hear and see you in 2 weeks. Make sure to give us likes, to give subscribes, and make sure to be subscribed to MKDev Dispatch newsletter. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Yep.
There are no challenges that we couldn't overcome. Whether it is immediate infrastructure problems or planning a future project, we won't simply answer your questions. We become a part of your team to help you complete the mission. Our solutions consider the interests of your business and the combined expertise of the industry, as our staff is made up of more than a dozen experts in different areas who share decades of field-tested experience and knowledge with you.